YouTube people? This is Jesse, Crave Collector 01, here today for another Transformers review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Megatron, or I prefer the name Sharkticon Megatron. That was what he was originally going to be named. I prefer that name better. As you can see, he is very, what's the word? Colorful. He's very colorful, and he is meant to be an homage to the G1 Gnaw, if you've seen that toy, mostly in the '86 Transformers movie, but really reminiscent of that figure with the face and the blues and the pinks, and even has a newly designed Decepticon logo, which is it's kind of like a Decepticon logo with a split lower jaw to kind of give it a beast look, almost insectoid in a way. Really nice. I do like the colors of this guy. Seeing as how he's just a basic, he's a very extensive, heavy retool, remold of the already existing RID Megatron. One thing they added that I did like is this completely redesigned section that covers Megatron's head in robot mode, which I really did like. Really do like that feature because it hides the head and makes for a much more unified looking jet. The only parts that are really the same to the RID Megatron are these gray kind of intakes and the upper thighs. The transformation that Megatron sports in this mode is it's basically exactly the same. There's a few little extra things. The canopy folds up on the back, that's new. These chest pieces lock together, which that's new, and the shoulder guards have some added articulation, but for everything else it's standard affair to the RID Voyager, so we won't focus too much on transformation. He does, however, come with a pretty cool gun. It's a fish-esque gun. I think it is the Tartarex Warp Sword, I think is how the box described it, but you can see it's a fish. Has some nice details. Let's say the customizers could really do a great job with this. I'd actually like to see Ray, I love Mess, don't call him that, he hates it. I'd like to see him get this figure and paint it up. He does wonderful with some of his Transformers, but it's pretty cool. It works as a gun in this mode, but you can pull this out. You see the blade extends, then you just flip down the handle, and there you have the sword, and it's pretty decent sized. I mean, here's my hand from tip to down on my wrist, and I have fairly large hands, so it is a it's a decent sized weapon, and the fact that it can lock is 100 times better in my book, as long as it doesn't have that stupid light, and it can lock, which is a huge plus. So it's a gun, it's nice. Let's move on to Megatron. Transformation for Megatron is exactly the same as RID Megatron, so we won't focus too much on it. Just tuck these in, pull off these back wings, getting those disconnected. Take the Sharkticon head, split it, fold it up just enough that you can get the waist piece up and into place. Then flip down the legs off the back of the figure. Then go ahead and just fold those down for a minute. Raise that head panel. Split these two things, these two head face shield covers. Split them, hold them up. Go ahead and finish bringing the Sharkticon heads up and together. Gives a nice click into place actually. Rotate the legs. I'm not too worried about getting this all in frame. You guys have seen, I'm sure, 100 transformations of this guy. Well, not just this guy in particular, but RID Megatron, so I'm not going to be too transformation specific in this video. Pull these arms down, off, split them, rotate them out. And one nice thing that they did change on this Megatron compared to RID Megatron is they made it so that the arms still peg into the chest plates, but it seems to be much more solid in this guy than it was in RID Megatron. It's much more solid and a nice, it gives a nicer push into place. It locks in quite solidly. We're almost there now. We're almost there. This is the added articulation in these that I was telling you about. You hold these back too, and it just kind of, it's like a friction peg into place. Friction notch, I guess you would say. Friction notch. Then what you want to do with this new back piece is fold it down, up directly against the back. I like to, you have a couple options with the way the backpack is. You can have it right up against the back like this, or you can fold it out a bit and pull these back a little further and put these what were the head covers up to the back. And I actually like to do it that way, because if you look inside on those wings, right in the very back, you can see some detail that they've actually went through the trouble and molded in. I'm not sure if that is on the RID Megatron. I'll have to check, but it's got some teched out veins and some almost looks like fish scales in a way. So that might be a new remolded part to just this figure. And if it is, that's pretty cool. That shows a lot of detail. So we'll back him up here, take a better look at him. As you can see, he's very, very colorful. He's actually really, really nice. They spared practically no paint on this guy, really. He's got the nice blue, these are blue molded plastic, but they matched the paint for the forearms perfectly, which was a nice touch. The teeth could use some picking out with some paint. The head is really, really kind of weird. It's slightly different. The head, I believe it's slightly different. Let's see. They've recessed his mouth. It looks a lot darker. So he's kind of got this strange, constant open mouth, and it looks weird, but it looks cool at the same time. I know that sounds strange, but yeah. He's pretty nice. I really dig the colors of him. I think he's quite nice, I have to admit. I wasn't sure how I felt about him for a while, but having him in hand is a lot better. He feels a lot less hollow than the RID Megatron 2. This figure has quite a bit of extra heft to him, and I think it's these remolded chest plates here and the additions of the fins and some of the spikes, because this guy is actually fairly solid with the these are big solid chunks of just plastic here, whereas RID Megatron was kind of lacking in the plastic department. He was really thin. This guy's not so much. He's quite heavier. I held Megatron in my hand today and him in the other, and he does feel quite heavier, and he's got the nice waxy feeling plastic, but he still has these cheap feeling gray and purple bits that was like left over from the Megatron mold. So he's got some really nice new parts that feel like really good plastic, and then he's got some really cheap feeling parts at the same time. So I would have to say, if you see this guy out, you could probably pass on it, really, unless you like this look. Which I personally like this look. I like Gnaw. I like the little Gnaws and the Sharkticons in the '86 movie. I like the toy. So this guy to me is pretty cool, and he's just crazy. He's all over the board, and that's why I like him. I think he's different than what we've seen before, and for a Megatron, it's really out there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and like my Facebook fan page. This has been Jesse, Crave Collector 01, signing out.
But I never want to